In my second presentation, I would like to give you a small technical update from version 6.3 till the actual version, and also to talk about roadmap. I'm not sure which versions you have at the moment there. Most probably you are using already one of the latest version. But I would like still to talk about some specific features available in this version that could be helpful for you, because installing the new version is not necessarily means that you are really using all these new features that came in the version. So what exactly I'm going to talk about? So I'm going to talk about multi-team environments, support for Chrome, Firefox, about Outlook, VBO, digital exchange, data gateways, work queue analysis, update to login agent, localization journey, support for IPv6, and then switching to a session about roadmap, talk about our vision, some announcement, and also about the roadmap itself. Okay, let me start with introduction of multi-team environments. That was first time introduced in version 6.3. It's still developing, and in each version we provide some additional updates and possibilities here. But what is it about? So initially, at the beginning, it was like you could define the different roles and access to objects and processes, but it was not possible, for example, to create for a specific user access just to part of the processes or part of business objects. And with help of multi-teams, you are really able to create additional level of control where you decide what access you give to specific user or user group to some artifacts like objects and processes, and also runtime resources. You can define them as privately, so one person or one department is having access to specific object, process, or resource, or you can create also some shared artifacts. So that could be seen and modified if necessary also by several different departments. So how it works, in the settings, you have the new area, and in settings, you can see here access to Object Studio and Process Studio. And for example, if you see here in this situation, Asia Pacific developers, and they have global access rights to Studio, Object Studio, and Process Studio. If you go to the view of the process itself and right-click, then you can see here access rights, and clicking on access rights, you can define, okay, which access rights you are giving here to this specific group of process or objects, or to specific process or object. Edit process, export process, execute process, and so on and so forth. So that's pretty easy to manage in this situation. The next point is about to support additional browsers. So initially we supported just Internet Explorer, and it was a big demand there to provide more. And with 6.3 we started to support Chrome, with 6.4 Firefox, and with each new version we are going to update this integration to keep it actual and supporting the newest version of Chrome and Firefox. You need to install also browser extensions on your machine that has to use automation for Chrome and Firefox, but they are offered also in installation of Blue Prism itself. We introduced also the new Outlook email VBO. It was possible also before to automate the emails with help of IMAPI, but with Outlook it's more comfortable now. So it's really interface-based VBO that make automation of emails really easy for you. If you talk about automation, that's about automation of some specific systems involved in the process, but also sometimes services. And services and systems often provided through HTTP APIs. And we provide, since version 6.4, web API functionality interface for configuration, native interaction with system and services. So it's really easy to configure now, and could be done also by business user easily to involve this API based services and systems into your automation. You could see also in the video already it was a discussion about digital exchange. Let's explain a little bit more in detail what digital exchange is. Everybody has a smartphone, and having smartphone, depending on which platform you're using, iOS or from Google, you have either Google Play or Apple Store from Apple, and you can go there, search for specific assets that you're interested for, and then download and immediately use them. Digital exchange is a similar store for digital workforce. So it's ability to download the skills for your digital workers immediately from the web. So it's really easy to do. So you can browse for specific elements in digital exchange, find them and download, and then you can immediately per drag and drop use them in your process. In this screenshot, for example, that Microsoft Vision that you downloaded and immediately could connect to your existing process. There are no code required. It's everything just simple drag and drop interface, and that's provide to you capability to create really interesting new process without big integration projects and so on and so forth. Which assets are available there? I have here some samples of assets available in digital exchange. We have here different services and integrations, like, for example, Microsoft Vision, Google services, IBM Watson services, but also some of assets coming from our development, some coming from independent developer of our customers. So the number of assets is continually growing here. So for example, here is a sample of a really interesting asset. That's our Technology Alliance partner, Ultima, that's provide for you capability to automate applications that you access, for example, through Citrix or RDP without surface automation, still using APIs instead of surface automation if you use Ultima. Or other interesting assets here is, for example, warm start for integration with SAP. So if you have experience with SAP, you can control SAP also with help of T codes. It's like address for specific page in SAP, and we are providing VBOs for these T codes. In other words, if you go to SAP to specific page using this T code, in this Visual Business Objects, you have already all elements of this page already there, and also classical actions for this page are already automated. So that make for you automation of SAP is really easy and fast. So you don't need to create these objects for your SAP environment completely self. You can use predefined. Let's talk about other features. In 6.5, we introduced data gateways. Originally, our philosophy was that every information that during the runtime execution is automatically going to Blue Prism database, and that was in some situation additional challenge for our customers if they really would like to have access to live data that was impact on the performance of the systems if you are really trying to get some information from Blue Prism database during the run session. So we introduced data gateways that's ability to reroute some specific data, like, for example, session logs, publish dashboard, and also some custom data to some third-party resources. So it's possible to reroute this data to HTTP endpoints, external databases, directly to Splunk or to flat files. That's keep the performance of your Blue Prism database and also give to you ability, for example, to give access to dashboards, not just to Blue Prism users, but also to completely people who don't have Blue Prism account. For example, for management, that could be really interesting to have access that's in web interface instead of starting Blue Prism and getting information from there. So if you go in Blue Prism settings, then you see in here also the new data gateways. And for example, on the top, you see here session logs. Please select at least one option: write session log to database or send session logs to data gateways. So you cannot disable both of them. So you need to take at least one of the sources where the session logs are going to go, and this way reroute the session logs, for example, to specific other source of information. And the same about dashboards and so on. Another feature that was introduced in 6.5 that's also really interesting is work queue analysis. That's creating more or less a view, okay, when I have a peaks in my queue, what is so you can create a snapshot and compare the situation to different time of the day, for example, and also investigate the trends when you have a most workload in specific work queues and how to deal with them. What is the level of errors to specific hours, for example. Also in 6.5, we introduced an update to login agent, and in this case, that's about bypassing SAS. So it's about programmatically send Ctrl-Alt-Delete as a part of the login. So my recommendation is to check before you go with specific guide available on our portal, user guide for login agent. In the meantime, I believe it was another update to login agent as well in 6.6 or 6.7. So always use the latest version available. We started in 6.5 also our localization journey. Originally, the system was available just in English language, but we started to localize the product also to other languages. In 6.5, that was localization just to Chinese and Japanese. In 6.7, we introduced localization to French. Now, in few days or maybe in few weeks, we will get also the localization to German language, and more languages are planned as well. In addition to translation of UI, that's also providing access to calendar with public holidays that could be really interesting in terms of scheduling the process, because if you have a holiday, then scheduling is going to be a little bit different. So this public holiday calendar adjusted for specific regions could be also really interesting. Before you go here, also strongly recommended that you check the guide available on the portal about localization. or in 6.5 as well, we started to support IPv6 network protocol. So for customers who is switching for classic IPv4 to IPv6, that's really good news. It's also possible to have a combination of these two. Okay, and that's about update what was from version 6.3 to version 6.7. I hope you could get at least some interesting things that you have maybe in your system but not using, and that give you opportunity to look around and see what else you can use here. Let's talk about the roadmap. What is Blue Prism planning next in the next versions, and where we are at the moment? So we are talking about connected RPA. It's about human plus digital. So we see the future of work as humans and digital workers working side by side. So we are talking a human-first approach to intelligent automation. Cloud ready. Our customers all have different deployment requirements. We have to listen to our customers and be relevant to them at any stage of their cloud journey. And it's about everything is connected. We are building towards a platform where people can collaborate efficiently and securely with unlimited capacity alongside a more intelligent Blue Prism digital workforce. We see the future of work as a hybrid of human and digital labor working side by side. And that's really important that I told before that around 92% of processes require at some point human interaction. So it's really important to connect these two different teams of human workers and digital workers and make this combination as comfortable as possible. Everything is connected. We are talking here about 5D view. It's starting with the first D is discovery, how to identify new process for automation. What is the best candidate for automation? We have on our portal as well process discovery tool that's available for our customers free of charge. So you can easily put some information about your processes there, and it will create for you a table and also dashboards showing the process with most potential for automation. And that's also one of our strategic direction where development is going. Second D is describe. It's about where automation is built. So it's a studio self, but also in the future, we are going to provide some tools helping for you to automate maybe the process automatically. So looking what the human users are doing and then take over that in your process automatically for automation. Delivery, third D, is where orchestration and execution is performed for both attended and unattended automation scenarios. So that's about scheduling and about to making this intelligent scheduler as performant as possible and comfortable as possible. Digital exchange, the fourth D, is providing to you access to unlimited number of additional assets developed in our organization, but also in community, speeding up your automation journey. And fifth D is Decipher. Decipher is a new tool that's coming to the market in few weeks. We announced Decipher already in May last year by last Blue Prism World in London. And now we are finally coming to the first release of Decipher. I'm going to talk about that just one or two slides later, what that exactly is. Okay, let's talk about announcement, what we have done so far. I explained just before this session also about Blue Prism Cloud, and that's our additional offering. Service Assist is a tool developed with help of Blue Prism and our integration with our technology alliance partner Trust Portal, helping to automate and drastically improve the quality of your call center or service center agents. Just after my session, my colleague Martin Roth will talk about this Service Assist product in more detail, and we'll also show that. And Decipher, that I announced right now, is a tool that helps you to involve intelligent document processing, or let's say about cognitive AI to your existing processes, upskilling your digital workers to automatically process also unstructured information. Originally, digital workers are very good with structured information, but if it's about unstructured, then you need some help. And we are going to provide with Decipher ability to organize unstructured data from business documents and immediately use that in Blue Prism processes. Okay. I would like also to talk about roadmap, where we're going and where we are. I thought about two possibilities how to talk about roadmap today. One possibility was to use the slide, and other was to show that more or less live, because every customer has now access to the actual roadmap from our portal. So if you log in the portal under the product, you go to the roadmap, and then you can see everything what we plan for the different areas of our portfolio. So we switched to quarterly based roadmap. So we define our plans for on quarterly based for different areas, and this view you will get also then in the portal. So let's go a little bit about the next releases, what we plan to do. So the next one planned in May, and if you talk about roadmap, you can see different areas here. So it's about platform self, so that Blue Prism application, cloud, that's Blue Prism cloud offering, digital exchange is the platform with all these assets, but there are also a lot of improvements planned. So it's a separate roadmap also for digital exchange. We have also separate a roadmap for Decipher. That's the product that's going to be developed with the time as well. And also on process discovery side, we really work to improve capabilities of this product for our customers to make them more successful with our digital workforce. So talking about the platform, changes planned in May, it's about enhancement single sign-on options, for example. Also on data gateways, with each version we provide some new capabilities in gateways, adding more functionality and what's possible to do. And in this case, that extending scope of deployment beyond of SQL Server native authentication. We are also going to work to improve the usability of the studio, especially if you have a big amount of processes and objects. At some point, it will be pretty messy, and we introduce here additional search and filter functions to easily find required processes and objects. And also in localization journey, we are going to provide also interface in German. If you're talking about a digital exchange, we are adding some e-commerce here, so available to get not just information and download, but also it will be possible to by specific integration or licensing through digital exchange. And also, if you talk about innovation, our innovation center, that's AI lab that we have since more than 1 year now. They developed our Decipher and working on other topics as well. So they are going to deliver all this SAP related stuffs. I was talking before about this T codes for SAP, but it's also about ABAP code analyzer and helper for migration for S4HANA and so on and so forth. Decipher, we plan initial release that's going to be pre-trained for invoices, so it's providing invoice machine learning model, but it will be available also for the next version for pre-trained for other types of document, and for sure you can also train itself for also other types of document. And if you talk about the process discovery, it's about process assessments, time to value tooling to accelerate ROI, improving the process governance, who has access to specific processes in process discovery, process management, and improvement in UI. Talking about August time frame, we are going to introduce some changes in license management, so it will be possible to share license scheme between environments to maximize utilization. So if you have, for example, distributed use of the platform, so 2 different environments, so you can have one license serving 2 different environments, so it's easier share of license in this situation. UI in Spanish is going to be introduced. I was talking about Blue Prism Cloud Hub. We are going to provide and Interact. We are going to provide or planning to provide them also on premise in August timeframe. So you will not need to use cloud, so you can go completely for on premise using Hub and Interact. Also, for digital exchange, we have a big plans, and in generally, it's about creating more and more assets and providing developer tools how to create assets for digital exchange. And also it's about private use of digital exchange. So you can, for example, decide which users can access from your organization digital exchange and create private version of digital exchange. So where you see just assets approved by somebody, can be downloaded by your internal users. Or you create some own assets and put them to your private exchange, digital exchange, and share that across with your organization. In Decipher, we plan additional form definitions, extending audit and process reporting capabilities, adding UI in different languages. And in process discovery area, we are planning to extend existing measures for better alignment with strategy. So adding a different assessment metrics as well here. Moving to November, new reporting capabilities about license management, allowing you to understand how utilization of shared license works and how to improve the situation. And we plan also some service pack and performance improvement with minor enhancement for the platform. For the cloud, we plan a new capabilities in wireframer to generate a process automation from process definition. We plan as well better visual experience in Hub on health monitor, and with Interact additional notification center supporting further human in the loop capabilities to extend use cases that you are able to cover. In digital exchange and Decipher, there are also some things planned for November. So additional machine learning models and intelligent form builder for Decipher are really exciting and providing for you more capabilities, how easy integrate capture related activities into your automation. And Decipher is going to be able to plug in additional external services, for example, ability to add handwritten recognition or ability to add different OCR engines. And also in process discovery, some plans to customize the questions. So usually description of the process are based on questions, so it will be possible to customize that. And also connected RPA assessment, assess the process through the eyes of Blue Prism and its ecosystem to easily extend automation. And also some generalistic plans about the platform, where we're going, what we are trying to do in the future without time frames now. So it's about planning to create new web and also mobile user interface for controlling the platform, to add additional cloud-based deployment model, expand API framework. On orchestration and control side, it's about simplified deployment model and reducing communication overhead. And we are still working on adding additional languages and probably also in the future to providing for the customer capabilities to translate the software self for their needs. If we talk about the cloud, also big plans about the hub, enable better collaboration when capturing and defining process definition, adding natural language understanding, derive meaning from unstructured text, control and visibility of work streams, manage process development, and to allow better integration between hub and digital exchange. In 6.7, it's already possible directly from a Blue Prism application to communicate with digital exchange, but it's also just start of the journey. On digital exchange side, we planned also to improve the user experience here and work more about functions and capabilities of the platform to make it as comfortable as possible. And also our innovation center is going to deliver a new asset for digital exchange. In this situation, that's about SAP Leonardo AI integration and more about computer vision and AI technologies to provide enhancement for discovery, Decipher, and also automation self. Decipher self will be also mobile management, at least it's planned, and we are talking about Decipher skills. So it's Decipher is going to be a kind of package where you can put additional elements inside. So that's going to be more powerful and more customizable in this situation. And also Decipher Cloud is planned for the future. And on process discovery side, we plan some automation tool to improve investment and planning returns, and also providing some process identification. At the moment, tool is just providing for you assessment of your ideas, but it's going to provide also ideas for you for automation in the future. Okay, that's all from my side, and I would like to introduce you to the question session now.
Okay, I'm turning on the question session. So if you like to ask the question, please press the button with the question mark and type your question. We'll be displaying.
No questions so far.
Okay, they will come later.
So I really invite you to check the roadmap also on our portal, and we are going to keep that also all the time actual. So anytime you can get the latest plans or latest news about our roadmap.
Okay, Michael, there is a question in the chat mode. Sorry if I missed that. Do you plan to introduce attended automation with Blue Prism?
Yes. So I was talking about interact. That's capability to work together from digital worker perspective, digital worker and human working together. I already told as well about our technology alliance partner Transportal, and the product that my colleague Martin will introduce just after my slot now is also about this attended use cases. That's not about automation on desktop. That's against our philosophy, but that's assisted automation where really it will be possible to work together, human and digital worker.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Michael. And yet another question. Will Decipher be available for on-premise user, or it will be sold separately?
So Decipher, we announced Decipher already in May last year, and we announced that it's going to be free of charge product available for all Blue Prism customers, free of charge. With in the future, when we are going to add additional components for that, for example, ICR, that's going to be third-party components that's also require third-party license. So it will be additional cost associated with this add-ons to Decipher. But Decipher itself remained free of charge. And that's available on the premise, just on premise in the first version, and will be available in the cloud version later.
Okay, Michael, thank you very much for answering the questions, for your presentations. We are closing this part now.